Okay, picture this. It's 2 a.m. The whole house is completely quiet, but you are wide awake. You're sitting right there on the edge of the bed, rubbing those tight, cramped legs, and your mind is just racing. You might have even taken a magnesium supplement right before hitting the pillow, hoping to finally get a solid night's rest. But, well, here you are again. It's incredibly frustrating, right? And it really makes you wonder, if you're already taking magnesium, do you just need to crank up the dose? Well, let's dive into this explainer because the answer we're going to uncover might completely change how you approach your health from here on out.
We tend to treat our bodies like simple math equations. Like, if we're low on a specific mineral, we just add more of it. Simple, right? But what if the problem actually isn't the amount you're swallowing? What if the real issue is what happens after that supplement passes your lips? As we're going to see today, the success of your nutrition isn't just dictated by what goes into your mouth, but by the complex journey those nutrients have to take to actually reach your cells.
This brings us to what I like to call the label illusion. Just imagine you're standing in the supplement aisle and you're holding two bottles of magnesium. One says 200 milligrams, the other says 400 milligrams. Naturally, that bigger number feels way more powerful, doesn't it? It gives us this sense of certainty. But here's the catch. That 400 milligrams, that only tells you what enters your mouth. It tells you absolutely nothing about how much successfully crosses your intestinal wall, how much makes it into your bloodstream, or the actual reality of what arrives inside those cramping muscle cells. Simply put, the number on the bottle absolutely does not equal the cellular reality.
Think about taking a supplement, kind of like passengers boarding a bus. That big number on the bottle, that's just counting how many people stepped onto the bus at the very first stop. Sure, you might know 40 people got on, but that tells you zero about who actually made it to the final destination. Did some of them get off early? Did the bus break down? This is exactly why two different people can take the exact same dose of magnesium at the exact same time of night, and one person sleeps like a baby while the other is still waking up with tight, painful muscles. It's really not about who gets on the bus, it's all about who actually arrives.
All right, so to really understand this journey, we have to look at the biology for a second. Magnesium actually has to successfully complete 4 distinct stages to be of any use to you. First, it has to be released in your stomach and digestive tract. Second, it's got to be properly absorbed across the intestinal wall. Third, it needs to be transported safely through your bloodstream. And finally, stage 4, it has to be taken in and actually used by the cells that need it. Most of the time, our conversations about magnesium completely stop at intake. But from this point forward, I really want you to ask yourself a much better question. What is actually helping those milligrams complete these 4 stages?
And the answer to that question brings us to a genuinely fascinating concept called the food matrix. See, magnesium doesn't work alone. It relies heavily on a supportive team of fiber, potassium, and protein. Whole food doesn't just deliver magnesium all by itself, it provides an entire, complex nutritional environment. It's kind of like a construction site. Taking an isolated supplement is like sending just one single worker to the job site. I mean, sure, they're important, but getting your magnesium within the food matrix, that's like sending an entire crew of workers, all arriving together with the right tools, the right materials, and the right support systems.
So, let's look at 5 everyday food strategies that will help you shift your focus away from how much am I taking and toward how well is my body actually using it. We're going to count them down, starting with number 5.
Strategy number 5 is your dark, leafy greens, and this acts as your essential mineral foundation. We're talking about things like spinach and Swiss chard, and they are absolutely vital because they deliver your magnesium inside a complete nutritional package. When you eat these greens, you aren't just getting isolated magnesium. You are getting this incredible foundational mix of potassium, folate, and fiber that elevates the overall quality of the meal. Now, the absolute key here is consistency. You do not need to hunt down rare, expensive greens or make super complicated recipes. Just lightly sauté them, steam them, toss them into some eggs or a soup. A reasonable portion that you can eat consistently is so much more valuable than a perfect recipe you only cook once a year.
But hey, what if you need to boost your intake and you don't really want to eat a massive plate of vegetables? I completely get it. And that brings us perfectly to strategy number 4. Strategy number 4 is pumpkin seeds. This is what we call the density strategy. These little seeds are just incredibly portable and naturally concentrated. They let you pack a really meaningful amount of magnesium into a very tiny space. You can just sprinkle them right over your morning oatmeal, toss them on a salad, or mix them into yogurt. But a quick word of caution. Because they are so energy dense, moderation really is key here. A huge handful is going to add up in calories pretty fast. So the smart move? Stick to a moderate portion, maybe lightly salted or unsalted. Sprinkle them intentionally rather than just mindlessly snacking straight from a giant bag.
Moving right along to strategy number 3.
We're actually going to go a bit deeper into the body now, looking at exactly what foods actively support your digestive system.
Strategy number 3 is beans and legumes. And this one is all about your gut ecosystem. Black beans, lentils, chickpeas, yes, they are fantastic sources of magnesium. But their real magic, that happens when they finally reach your gut. See, they contain something called resistant starch. This is a special type of fiber that doesn't get fully broken down early on. Instead, it travels all the way down to become vital, nourishing fuel for your gut bacteria. Think of your digestive tract like a garden. The magnesium is the seed you're planting, but the condition of the soil, meaning your gut health, that completely determines if that seed is actually going to grow. Beans help cultivate that soil so your absorption environment is primed and totally ready to go.
Now, really quickly, before we hit our final 2 strategies, I need to pause for a crucial medical reality check. Waking up at night with leg cramps or fatigue does not automatically mean you are low on magnesium. Sometimes it's just dehydration. Sometimes it's a new medication you started. But listen, if you are having severe symptoms like swelling, redness on one side of your leg, lasting numbness, profound weakness, chest discomfort, or any shortness of breath, do not try to fix this with supplements or an extra side of spinach. These are absolute medical red flags. Knowing when nutrition can help is incredibly empowering, but knowing when it's not the right tool is equally important. Please always seek medical care if you experience any of these.
Okay, with that vital safety check out of the way, let's jump back into our countdown with number 2.
Strategy number 2 is whole soy foods, like edamame or tofu. And this strategy is all about the protein combination. Look, a nutrient can look absolutely amazing on a scientific chart, but if it doesn't fit into a genuinely satisfying, energy-providing meal, you are simply not going to stick with it. Soy foods provide magnesium, sure, but they brilliantly bind it together with high-quality protein and energy. This takes an isolated number on a page and turns it into a practical, real-world meal foundation that your body can actively use to rebuild and recover. Now, if you don't eat soy, that is perfectly fine. Just swap it out for another protein source that works for you. The main goal we're after here is that powerful combination.
And wow, here we are. This brings us to the single most important strategy of the entire bunch. And spoiler alert, it is not some rare superfood or a magical berry from the rainforest. Number 1. Strategy number 1 is the coordinated plate. Your body simply does not run on single solo heroes. It runs on highly coordinated teams. It's exactly like an orchestra. The strongest strategy isn't just taking a massive megadose of one single thing, it's about combining dark leafy greens for your mineral base, beans to cultivate that gut soil, a really high-quality protein, and a nice sprinkle of seeds for density. Every single part performs a totally different role to make sure that the magnesium actually completes its journey. If you just drop one pill to pick up one miracle food, you are literally making the exact same mistake. What we really want is a coordinated pattern of foods that work beautifully together and, most importantly, fit into your actual life.
So, the most crucial part of all of this is how you actually apply it tonight. Here is a super simple, screenshot-friendly action plan for you. First off, please do not rush out and try to change everything at once. Just choose one small, highly repeatable change. Maybe add some greens to your dinner, or sprinkle those seeds on your breakfast. Then keep your baseline routine steady. Don't go starting 5 new supplements tomorrow. Over the next couple of weeks, simply track how often you wake up. Pay attention and monitor the frequency of your leg cramps. Remember, the goal here isn't to prove that one food is a magical miracle cure. The goal is to understand how your unique body responds when you finally give it the proper support it's been asking for.
Well, we have definitely covered a lot of ground in this explainer today, completely shifting our mindset from just obsessing over the milligrams on a label to actively supporting the actual biological journey those nutrients have to take. So I want to leave you with this one question to think about tonight. What is one simple, sustainable change that you can maintain this week to help your nutrition finally reach its destination? Start small, build that team on your plate, and really pay attention to how your body responds. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, be sure to share this with anyone else you know who is tired of waking up at 2 a.m. searching for answers. Catch you next time.